for the Conservatives for 5 minutes, Mr. Jivani.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Bouchard. So the issue of bonuses has come up a few times already, and certainly because I think the issue has plagued your predecessor, it's generated a lot of conversation in the media. People from the political left and the political right have condemned it. Even former, big-name CBC personalities like Peter Mansbridge has commented on the issue. So I'd like to just give you an opportunity to concisely clarify your position. Will you commit now to banning the sorts of bonuses that have been in the news, the egregious bonuses to executives? Is that a position you're able to articulate today?
I have respect for the board of directors that has asked for a report, and I will take this report into consideration. I will advise with the board of directors, and then we will decide what we do. But I can't commit to one way or another at this stage. I don't have enough information on the way forward, because it's one thing to say you're going to ban something. So how do you go forward? What do you do with the employees that have their contracts? What do you do in terms of fair compensation?
So
I need a plan in order to commit to something.
So if I may suggest, I think a lot of the reason the bonuses have become such a hot topic of discussion is because of feelings that there are a lack of accountability with the CBC to the taxpayer. You said earlier that you want to be close to people's concerns and understand our country and the people of our country, but I certainly would hope it's not breaking news to you to suggest that a lot of people in our country are concerned about affordability, concerned about things like paying a mortgage, paying rent, concerned about putting food on the table. And when they see an organization that they are funding, a taxpayer-subsidized billion-dollar organization, dishing out large bonuses at a time where viewership is in decline and overall ad revenue is in decline, it certainly feels like to many Canadians that the CBC is tone deaf and not accountable to what is happening both within the organization and to the broader context of what's happening in our country. So that is why I think it would be fair to assume that you might have an opinion on giving out large bonuses even prior to all the things that you just mentioned, but that coming into your role, it would be fair for us to pose the question to you, do you think those bonuses are fair, and would you commit to banning such practices as the next CEO of the organization?
Well, I certainly, going back into your question, I'm not tone deaf, I think. I certainly heard all of your questions loud and clear. This is part of what I will take in at the beginning of my mandate, but I need a plan. And I can't devise that plan, or it would be irresponsible for me to commit to one way or another, alter this system without having a plan on how to do it. So I need the information, and I need to work with the people inside to get them on board for something that all of us will be comfortable with.
So, as you're aware, your predecessor, Ms. Tait, has been before this committee, I believe, 5 times in this calendar year. And one of the things that I've heard from Canadians in terms of their concerns about what Ms. Tait has said is a lack of any sense of, well, where do the bonuses become absurd, right? So when you look at some of the numbers that I have in front of me, overall ad revenue, including TV and digital, down 6.4% from 2023 to 2024. Audience share dropping from 7.6% when Ms. Tait started in the role to 2.1% in prime time now. You've got a Reuters study that showed from 2018 to 2022, trust in the CBC dropped 17%. Like, you look at these numbers and you say, okay, this is an organization with some real challenges. It's got a real problem connecting with the people of our country. And yet, at that same time, the same Canadians seeing that information is seeing large bonuses given out to executives. Can you empathize with why that seems absurd to the average taxpayer?
Well, certainly I can't comment on the numbers that you are providing, because I know that they are partial in terms of there's a segment, that's a segment of the activity of the CBC.
30 seconds.
There's radio, there's digital, there's all sorts of services that you can measure and that you haven't talked about. And they
Well,
all.
those
they
numbers are all public.
They all encompass the performance of the corporation as a whole.
Some of these numbers do come from the CBC annual report. I mean, like, we cannot live in a state of denial where we can't acknowledge that the organization is struggling and failing, and these bonuses have been a real trigger for taxpayers.
Thank you.
Thank you.